Tactics Ogre was originally developed for the Super Famicom by the same team that later created Final Fantasy Tactics, with both games focusing on grid-based, stat-driven combat between diminutive soldiers and storylines steeped in political intrigue. This relatively obscure cult classic once again takes to the field of battle with a PSP remake. Was it the right decision to rekindle and remaster this turn-based war? Tactics Ogre follows the path of a young man leading a military campaign to bring stability to a constantly warring region. This dramatic conflict is rendered in miniature, but great effort goes towards establishing a grand scale and scope with an elaborate backstory and character biographies providing rich context, and well-written dialogue coloring the experience with an old-world flavor. A branching storyline that compares well even to contemporary RPGs in terms of breadth and variety offers interesting choices, and the characters you encounter will live or die based on your actions. It's a disproportionate burden for a character that appears so diminutive on screen, but a real strong point for the game. Tactics Ogre gives you a world map, a branching plot, and a huge amount of freedom in how you develop your army. Conflict rises at every turn, and winning fights provides experience to raise levels for your different classes, skill points to learn new abilities, along with cash and items to outfit your group. You start with a few basic soldier types to employ, and special items let characters change their roles. There's a lot of diversity and personality on the battlefield, with all manner of human and monster to fight against or add to your army. With huge potential for satisfying micromanagement, a single playthrough can mean a time investment well above average for an RPG, and with the ability to revisit critical points after completing the game, you have an easier way to explore the game's different options and encounter new potential allies. Multiplayer is limited to downloading and battling AI-driven squads created by other players, but it's nice nonetheless that the units you took so much time leveling are able to get some play outside the main game. Battles are fought turn by turn, and the mechanics of combat are appreciably dense. Even secondary factors like terrain and weather can make a difference in a battle. A preview window displays your basic chances of landing an attack, but you can't just go by the numbers. An archer on high ground can fire past their indicated range, or a mage may hit an unintended target with a poorly aimed spell. If the battle takes a bad turn, the game's wonderfully conceived chariot system lets you go back up to 50 moves. Attempting the same action twice won't change anything, so you'll have to try something different to avert your previous fate. While this optional system gives you a clear advantage over the AI, it's invaluable when it comes to allowing new players to get a feel for the game. There's no cost or penalty for harnessing the power of the chariot, but if you decide to take your lumps, there's a 3-strike system for permanent character death. If you do lose someone for good, you can hire a decent replacement. Because it's the profession and not the character that actually levels up, you can sustain a few casualties without totally crippling your army. The downside is that it takes a bit of old-fashioned grinding to level up new combat roles later in the game. You'll need to field a solid team of soldiers to effectively complete missions. Each unit has different capabilities, and while there are some definite standouts, restrictions on usable skills and weapons demand careful attention to balance and squad composition. Developing each individual and deciding exactly who takes the field in any given battle is a big part of the strategy, which in turn engenders a real sense of attachment to your characters. When it comes to actual tactics, you can make every move yourself or set individual characters to different AI roles, which works fairly well. It's even possible to automate entire fights. Yet in certain circumstances, computer-controlled units who are crucial to the story show a maddening lack of self-preservation instincts, particularly in cases where their death means you lose them forever. Still, in spite of these infrequent frustrations, Tactics Ogre's complex skirmishes are well worth fighting. Tactics Ogre's remastered soundtrack stands out, with numerous battle themes and mood-setting incidental pieces creating a sense of purpose and drama. Updated character portraits are evocative and skillfully rendered, but you can't shake the feeling that, in spite of its charms, the cutesy imagery isn't the best match for the game's seriousness and grand scale. The ability to view battle maps from a flat, overhead perspective, however, presents a small, welcome concession in favor of ease of play. Tactics Ogre Let Us Cling Together meaningfully expands on the original game's deep interactive story and dynamic battle system, showing as much respect to prospective players as it does to its source material. Remake or not, this is the rare game that can sustain and reward months of play. If you're looking for a small army to call your own, there are few places better to look.